Hey guys, welcome back to another video. Now I know that it can be very frustrating when you're sewing and your thread keeps breaking and you have no idea what may be causing it. Today I'm going to share with you a number of reasons why this could be happening, and hopefully by the end of this video you will be able to do some troubleshooting and identify the reason for your thread breakage. Without any further ado, let's get right into it. Now I'm going to group these reasons into 4 categories. And the first category is thread-related issues. Your thread could be breaking because of number 1, poor quality thread. Cheap or old thread can be very brittle and uneven and cause breakage. Another thread-related issue is using embroidery thread for regular sewing. Believe it or not, some people do that. Another reason could be that your thread is very old or dry rotted, and this can cause your thread to break. Another reason is incorrect thread weight. You may find that the thickness or the weight of your thread is not equivalent to the type of fabric that you are using. For example, if your fabric is very thick, you cannot use a very fine needle to stitch it. You can probably get away with it, but not all fabrics. For example, recently I was stitching jeans, and this particular machine that I have, the Viva 5000, the needle is very fine, and so it kept breaking, and so I had to stitch very slowly in order to avoid the thread breaking. I got the proper thread, a thicker thread, but it was too thick to go through that very fine needle, and I even went on a hunt to get bigger needles, and when the needle arrived it still looked just as fine, even though the number for the size was bigger. So I'm still hunting for bigger needles. Another reason could be that your machine was not threaded properly. Sometimes we tend to miss some of the thread guides, or even place our thread in something that appears to be a thread guide when it is not. I remember on a Singer heavy duty that I had, that was happening, and this particular thing, it looked like a thread guide, but it was not, and my thread kept breaking. Another reason could also be that your tension is too tight. If your tension is too tight, that's going to cause thread breakage, and this is one of the most common reasons that persons may tend to have when stitching. Your tension could also be too loose, which can cause loops and tangles and sometimes lead to your thread snapping. One more reason could be that your thread could get caught or snagged. For those who use the spool cap, sometimes your thread can get caught in the spool cap, which can cause it to break. Now let us look at the second category of reasons why your thread could be breaking. They could be needle-related issues. Number 1, the wrong needle size. If your needle is too small or too large for your fabric, your thread is going to break. Another reason could be a bent or a blunt or a damaged needle. And I have seen that over the years in my sewing experience, because I know that my tension is always correct and everything else is working fine with the machine. Whenever this random day comes and my thread is breaking, it's always going to be the needle. The needle has become blunt. The next needle-related issue is that your needle was not inserted properly. If your needle is facing the wrong direction, your thread is going to be breaking. So for those, especially those who may have bought a brand new machine and you find that your thread is breaking, check the position in which you place your needle. Although these days, many times, the needle will always come in the machine, so hopefully you did not remove it and then insert it the wrong way, or that's going to cause your thread to be breaking, and it will not stop breaking unless it's placed in the right position. So be very careful, especially when you're changing needles, to hold fast to that needle when you unscrew it and mark the position in which it was, so that when you replace it with a new needle, you will replace it in the same position. The needle always has a flat side to it, so you look what side that was for most domestic machines. And then for some industrial machines, you find that the needle will have a dip, like a slight sink in it halfway down. So you look for that and look what position it has been placed in before you remove it, so you can know what works for your machine. Another reason could be that your needle eye is too small for the thread that you are using. If your thread is a little thick, yet it went through the needle eye, you may find that your thread will keep breaking until you get a bigger needle or a smaller thread, a thinner thread, okay? Now, the third category of reasons are machine-related issues. If your tension discs are dirty and has dust or lint, that can cause inconsistent tension and lead to thread breakage. The second machine-related issue could be incorrect winding of your bobbin. You find that whenever the bobbin is wounded incorrectly, your thread can break because it's not feeding at the same consistency all the time, especially when it's passing through the tension. So it will break. Another reason for your thread breaking as it relates to the machine could be that you did not insert your bobbin case properly. Now that one will sometimes lead to way more than your thread breaking. You could get a jam with the needle where it's stuck and a whole lot of thread gets tied up beneath there. So you have to ensure to insert your bobbin case properly. For those with the removable bobbin case, which is many times on industrial machines, ensure that you insert your bobbin case properly. How I ensure that I get that right every time is when I have inserted the bobbin in the bobbin case, I do not start out by pressing with my foot. I turn the balance wheel to make a few stitches to ensure that the needle is going up and down and not connecting with anything else beneath the surface. So that tells me that all is well and it's okay now for me to press with my foot and get sewing. So that's a good way to avoid it. That can help you with so many things, because anytime the bobbin case is inserted incorrectly, so many other issues can occur. It's not just the thread breakage, but that's for another video. Now, another reason is improper thread path. When you are threading your machine, you missed a guide, or you went through a certain loop or a certain guide before another one. You didn't get the path right. Maybe your machine is brand new and you're still getting used to how it is threaded. So if you missed or went the wrong path, your thread is going to break. It doesn't matter how basic it is, one wrong move and your thread will be breaking. So ensure that if your machine is brand new and you're not familiar with the threading, to look it up, try to find out how to thread your machine properly. The next reason why your thread could be breaking is that your thread is not pulling or coming off the spool in the right direction. There are some spools that are directional, so if you place them in the wrong direction, for the thread is winding off in the wrong direction, your thread will break. So ensure that you don't have one of those machines, okay? And if you do, try that to see if that could be a possible reason why your thread is breaking. Another reason could be having the wrong type of spool cap. That can cause your thread to unwind in a very uneven manner, leading to breakage. Another reason could be also that you have placed your thread in one of the machine cutters that is on the machine. I have one on my semi-industrial Weaver machine, and I did place my thread under it. The only difference with mine is that it cut it immediately, so I didn't have to get to stitching. But yes, it is very possible for you to mistake that cutter, depending on where they place it on your machine, as a thread guide, because mine just looks like a thread guide. The fourth and final category of reasons why your thread could be breaking are fabric and stitching conditions. There are some fabrics that are very thick and dense, and they're going to require strong thread and appropriate needles in order to get a perfect stitching experience. There's also the reason of too fast stitching speed. If you are stitching too fast, it will lead to increased tension and can cause heat, which is going to break your thread. So depending on what you're doing, if you're stitching something like curtains, drapes, something where you're just stitching away, and if you're just going non-stop fast, heat from that thread rubbing can also cause your thread to break. Another reason is wrong presser foot pressure. If the presser foot pressure is too tight on your fabric, it can affect how your fabric feeds and lead to your thread breaking. And that is it. I have gone through all the possible reasons of why your thread could be breaking. Now it's time for you to do some troubleshooting to figure out from these what is the reason for your thread breakage. I thank you so much for watching this video, and if you have not yet subscribed, please hit that subscribe button, and I promise you there are many more useful videos coming. Thank you so much. I appreciate your support for my channel, and until next time, happy sewing.